minds of my guest tonight. And so stay with me. When we go for this break, we get answers to all these questions because they have been on the grounds. NADMO, they understand the situation because when these disasters happen, they are the first call when it comes to relief. And so you understand more. My name is Godfred Amoaful. When we return, I will introduce my guest to you. He is a TikTok man, and his teacher will tell you what he does for this country. And so do stay with me as we go for this break.
Do you want a sugar-free, freshly squeezed fruit juice? Choose Greenline fruit juice and smoothies filled with vitamin C, calcium, iron, fiber, and zinc. Every drop of Greenline juice and smoothies is naturally made to give you energy, good health, and refreshment. Enjoy your favorite Greenline orange, pineapple passion, watermelon, pineapple and turmeric, pineapple beetroot, pineapple and ginger, and healthy green. Greenline fruit juice and smoothies, powered by nature.
All right, welcome back. Like I said earlier, now this interview seeks to educate the public on flood preparedness, emergency response measures, safety precautions, and the support system available to affected communities. We are also highlighting what citizens must do before, during, and after flooding situations to stay safe and access timely assistance. And so let me introduce my guest to you for this conversation. He is Richard Amo Yartey, Director of Inspectorate of the NADMO. And so, of course, he is here with us. Of course, you have rather joined him in his office to tell us more about how we protect ourselves, the preparedness we need to go through as a country or citizens of this country, individuals, to avert any possible casualties in the midst of natural disasters and even the ongoing floods that we're seeing in this country. So let me welcome you to this interview. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
Yeah, Ghanaians want to hear from you. I trust you're good.
Very well.
How has May been for you, NADMO?
For us, let me just say a good evening to your cherished viewers. And let me also not forget my Director General, who has given us all the opportunity to do what we are doing. The NADMO officers who are, as we speak now, day and night on the field, sensitizing, assessing the situation, and ensuring that our communities and our citizens are safe. Good evening to you all. Yeah, the month of May usually is part of our rainy season as a country. That's the southern sector of Ghana. But now, as NADMO, we don't wait for the rainy season to come. At the beginning of every year, we work in close collaboration with Ghana Meteorological Agency. They are responsible for monitoring the weather situation and advising. So we work in close collaboration with them. And I can tell you that on a daily basis, morning, evening, they give us the weather forecast. And then intermittently, if there's the need for alerts, they will give them to us for us to also circulate it widely to those who need the information and also to the citizens for them to take precautionary measures. So at the beginning of this year, we had the outlook for the year, which indicated that there will be a lot of rainfall. So we didn't just end there. We started working. We already know the flood-prone areas. So, and every flood-prone area is in a community, in a zone, in a district. So we identified all those districts and had engagement with assemblies because they always have a role to play. So in collaboration with assemblies, we started recovering wetlands and then opening up drainage channels and removing unauthorized structures which impede the flow of water so that when the rains come, there will be easy flow, smooth flow, and our communities will not be inundated. But then, you know, rainfall is natural. There's nothing we can do about the frequency and intensity in this day and era of climate change. frequency and intensity of rainfall has changed, the patterns have changed. And when you don't expect rains, that is when you get the rains. So we are mindful of all of this, and then we are working with all the agencies that have roles to play to ensure that our country is always safe.
That doesn't mean that your work you did before the rain set in didn't work?
When there's flooding, it doesn't mean you didn't do anything. Sometimes it's just being overwhelmed by nature. Nature can overwhelm you, whatever you do. I mean, you can look at advanced countries where they have systems that they still get flooded. So sometimes it's nature just overwhelm you. But then some of the flooding situations are due to our own actions and inactions. For example, let me talk about the types of flooding that we experience in Ghana, or for that matter, Greater Accra. We have the coastal floods as a result of high tides, and then the 550 kilometers of our coastline, sections of it are prone. Recently, we had tidal waves in Mori. About a month ago, Adan, and then Volta region, we have experienced tidal waves, which sometimes leads to flooding of the coastal communities, and then requires our attention. We have the second type, which we call the flash floods or the pluvial floods, which occurs as a result of high intensity rainfall and very low infiltration. Low infiltration meaning that the rain is pouring, but no spaces to flow. So it inundates communities. And this thing normally happens in urban communities due to urbanization. So we experience a lot of flash floods. And the most of the flooding we have been experiencing in Accra are flash floods. That is why in a matter of hours after the downpour, the water levels have receded and then people get back to their normal duties. And then the third one is the fluvial or the riverine floods, where the rivers and water bodies are overflowing. It might not be raining here, but there could be rain activities upstream where the source of that river is. So there'll be a lot of water overflowing and then it can flood communities. And this usually happens in areas where there are water bodies. And in Ghana, across the 9 regions, we have rivers, streams across. So any of those communities can be affected by riverine or fluvial floods. But then sometimes the fluvial and the flash can combine. For example, if Odo is overflowing and it is raining heavily and it cannot infiltrate, then the overflows will be coming into the community and the downpours and the runoffs will also inundate the communities. Yeah, so this we are aware of. That's why we work with assemblies and then sensitize communities on the do's and don'ts. So that sometimes when it rains, so sometimes it's very difficult to prevent, but at least you put in place measures that will mitigate the impact and the suffering of the people.
So clearly, we can't stop flooding?
Because you have no control over the rainfall. You have no control. If you can stop the rains, then you can stop flooding, but you can't stop it. You can only work to mitigate the impact by clearing water channels, recovering your wetlands so that they will flow smoothly. They have their natural, every water natural flows and finally enters the sea. If it is not impeded, then there will be it will not inundate any area. So it is our actions and inactions that sometimes brings about this inundation because we are blocking the waterway. The channels have become silted. They need to be drained. They need to be opened up so that they can carry more water. So this is what we are doing with the assemblies. And then we need equipment to do more. With limited equipment, we can only cover a small area at a go. But we have equipment spread across the country in all the 261 districts of the organization. We can be doing simultaneously. Yeah. And then it will mitigate the situation.
Have we prioritized this as a country? You said that we can control the water or the rain in that regard. Have we shown a lot of effort to show that probably we can do something to mitigate it or minimize it to the barest?
Yeah, all the work we are doing is to minimize the impact.
But we still see them often. It's like almost every year, the same thing. We record it almost every
flash floods they will pour down heavily. If infiltration is low, they will inundate. After a few hours, they will recede, and then communities
As I
head
speak,
back to normal.
some parts of Kaswa and routes are off.
Those areas, it's a special case.
Okay.
The dam situation, the Densu Basin, currently the communities downstream of the Densu Basin are inundated because of extreme activity, of rainfall activity upstream. The inflows into the reservoir, very high. And as I speak to you now, all 5 gates are open at 24 inches, which is high intensity spill. But the reservoir level is a little above the maximum operating capacity.
Okay.
We need to do this to protect the dam. Because if the dam breaks, it will be worse. So we are protecting the dam. And as we protect the dam by spilling, upstream communities that are inundated because of the flows into the reservoir will also ease. And then we have created the estuaries where these spills flows and then enters the sea. Woezor Dam didn't start spilling yesterday. They've been spilling for over 2 months now, but controlled, and we didn't get to hear any. But then, because the inflows into the dam exceeded expectation, of course, no one could have protected it. They had to open. As at yesterday, it was open at over 30 inches each gate, 5 gates. But that's at this morning because it is low. It is now 24 inches. Because they are mindful of the impact downstream. So we try as much as possible to control the spills so that downstream communities will not suffer. So Wednesday night, we spent the whole of the night opening up a second estuary for faster flows out of the communities. So by 6 a.m. we were done. And then we expected that by 8, 9, 10, the water levels in Titigu and its environs would have receded. Then we had a heavy downpour. So we didn't get what we expected. But as I speak to you now, the levels are receding, and very soon, if there is no rainfall activity to disturb it, the levels will recede from the communities. So we had over 100 people who were displaced. And then once you are displaced, NADMO takes you to the safe havens, then you become our responsibility. So that is why I said, as I speak to you now, we have a truck, we are loaded, we need to send those who are displaced some relief, and then we are working on it.
You've spoken about some preparedness that you've been doing, coordinating with assemblies and all that. Tell us, what kind of relief items have you been given the whole of this month?
The relief item is dependent on every individual and the situation.
Okay.
Relief is not just a handout to flood-prone communities. It's not a handout to flood-prone communities. It is a life-saving measure based on assessment of every individual. We look at things like what you have lost. If you have lost your source of livelihood, if you are working, what are your income levels vis-a-vis the damage that you have suffered? What is your family size? What is your network of friends where you can draw support? We look at a whole lot of things and then come to the conclusion that probably you need a blanket. A needs a mattress. B needs food. So it is based on an assessment, individual by individual, it is not a blanket where we go to a flood-prone communities and start sharing rights to everybody.
So there's a possibility that an individual can have more than the other?
Yes. There's a possibility that an individual may not get anything because from our assessment, he has capacity to help himself.
So you can't put yourself in danger and expect that NADMO will just come in and give you something.
If we assess and you have capacity to help yourself, we will not give you relief. Because relief is a life-saving measure for the most vulnerable.
Who has the capacity to help him or herself?
Your income levels are high. Your source of livelihood has not been affected.
Okay.
If your source of livelihood has not been affected.
My home is flooded.
Your home is flooded. So you need rescue.
Okay.
We rescue you to a safe place. Immediately, you will need some attention in terms of, say, a blanket to keep warm, a place to spend the night. But going forward, you have capacity, you have a network that you can easily bounce back. You are resilient. You are not like that tabletop seller who lost the source of livelihood, has 5 kids, and cannot feed. Yeah. So these are all the things that we look at.
So in this situation, if people are maybe being so much ignorant about their environment, not trying to take up responsibility to put preparedness measures in place to avoid any casualties, and it happens, thinking that NADMO will come in to give them reliefs or, support in those.
That is why sometimes people are disappointed, and they go on air saying, "Oh, they give A because it's in party B," and it is based on the assessment done, and we realize that you have different coping capacities. So based on what we find out, we'll give you. It is not. We don't give you what you want, or you don't tell us, "I need A, I need B." No, we give you based on our assessment. We even want to know your cultural background, various cultures and certain do's and don'ts, so that we don't infringe on the sensitivity.
So culture plays in this.
So everything is considered. Everything. For example, if you know somebody is a Muslim, and for example, you want to give food ration, you know what they don't like, so you will not present them with what they don't like. So we look at the community where you come from. What is your staple food? Is it rice or is it, no? We give rice.
That's a whole work.
Yes. So relief is not just distributing handouts.
How quick do you give the relief at if you are to go through all this?
Depending on the situation. And then we have a very strong coping capacity in this country that we all want to leverage on. Friends and family, they are always there to support. So most of the time when we set up camps, people don't even sleep there because they have a friend, a relative somewhere who will take them in. But once friends and family are ready to support, we should also add so that the family supporting you themselves will not be stretched. So it's not, sometimes the people will not be in our safe haven, but they will be with family and friends. Once we identify them and we identify your needs, we will make the necessary provision.
So for how long can someone receive donations from you?
Relief, standard relief for victims of, it depends on the magnitude of but then standard shouldn't go above 90 days, 3 months. But then sometimes there can be prolonged situations, and then we can assess and
what
extend.
Happened at Mepe?
Yes, there can be prolonged situations, and then we can extend. But normally in 90 days, you should be able to bounce back on your feet.
So how do you get all these relief items? From where?
Our primary source is government, GOG fund. We are GOG funded, but of course we enjoy support from the international community, the UN system, and even some Ghanaians. When there are situations that we need, some Ghanaians come out to support.
Can NADMO ever run out of relief items?
Run out completely. We always ensure that we have a strategic stock. Strategic.
Esan se men tutu mama mrase na men pese mama mra be yirenti mi di biara Ghana na me num biara so Ghana se ba no afahye ene apuntuo biara se dia me di dem ho diara ne officer bide na huso dedi wo dia obehwie biara mu occasion biara ya mamra dedi wo mu no de e kire yensu e wo afahye eye ni apuntuo ase de obetime di officer bites asom wo ahoho unumu a e koyo Officer Bitters, made in Ghana. So, Penedudu to our First Stepos Enterprise, Hometrum Foiso. Officer Bitters, who ye guy? Officer Bitters be a guy, what it? Numanya semu, one tom manipa wondi in Fiedu Watry. And Sasa Pin for ne abata woman Codano for Enumbi. And Num and San Fankaka. FD Aji Gedi and Kratu Yatum.
Like I said, it's not everybody who has been affected who needs relief.
I think this should be a caution. People need to know it more.
It's not everybody who has been. Sometimes you are exposed to the situation. but you are resilient.
Okay.
You can even take care of others.
So no matter how the person pleads or makes an argument,
it is our assessment that will determine whether you deserve or you.
then you'll be viewed as unfair.
That is why people say because they don't understand the job we do. Okay. We are being professional. We are not being sympathetic to any individual. No.
It's not about sympathy.
No. It's about professionalism.
Who is affected and who deserves it.
Who deserves it. Each according to their needs. Yes.
So
and then we also make sure that nobody is left behind.
Okay.
Whether your skin color, race, culture, religion, we don't do all those things. Each according to their needs.
So far, what's your assessment about this month? I mean, the floods, the disasters, natural phenomenon, those things happening. What's your assessment about it?
Yeah, we have been experiencing these floods. And one of the reasons that attributed to compound the situation was the fact that it rained continuously for 2 days. And then when that happens, the grounds are already saturated.
Okay.
So by the third rainfall, infiltration will definitely be very low. Yeah. So we have been having flash floods. Yeah. We are assessing and identifying a number of areas that needs attention. And then once we have the space, we will tackle those areas. Which water bodies, water channels have to be opened up. We will do that.
You've mentioned about the types of floods, the areas, the coastal areas and all those things. Which communities can you say are flood prone in this country that they need to be watched for?
No, the low-lying areas.
Okay.
Yes, because all the uphill areas, runoffs will flow. If you look at Accra, the Greater Accra metropolitan area, for me, it's the most vulnerable in terms of the geography. It is a low-lying, flatland, surrounded by the...
Greater Accra, I mean, can you use some places to...
Greater Accra metropolitan areas, starting from the Densu, right away to Sakum, Basin.
Okay.
It's low-lying, and then we have the Equapim range. And then, in the past, we're not experiencing this level of flooding because the Equapim range, the runoffs were being controlled by the vegetation. And then
you're using a lot of jargons. Equapim range means
the mountain, the Equapim mountain.
Okay, Equapim mountain.
Then it was covered by vegetation, which slows down the runoffs. And then beneath the mountain, we had wetlands, retention areas that holds the water for the flow out into the various channels, and then finally they find their way into the sea. But because we are developing, the vegetation is being taken off. That means faster runoffs. More runoffs, faster runoffs. Apart from the vegetation being taken off, there is construction, which means low infiltration. And then when it flows down, the wetlands have been reclaimed and people have built houses. So no infiltration, faster runoffs down south.
We will definitely build
And then
houses.
they are not channeled because the drainage infrastructure is also inadequate to support.
Is it the sizes or what? The drainage?
These drains are constructed. A lot of work goes into construction of these drains to determine the depth, the weight, and everything. But because it is not expected, there's always a margin of error. But then a lot more people do not comply with regulations. So when we expect that maybe 10 volumes of water will flow, we end up getting about 20, 30. So, and then areas develop faster because of urbanization.
So is it poor? Can I also say, is it poor foresight? Because human beings grow.
It's not poor foresight. Because sometimes it is the rapid nature at which we are developing.
Yeah, so in the modern times, if you are constructing, you know that probably in the next 5-10 years,
we should expand it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Those who are in that space, there are a lot of considerations that they make. before they do all this.
I'm putting you in this corner because before this conversation, you opened the phone lines and people shared their views. I particularly said you all have solutions to end floods, and people spoke about what you're saying, the drainage and all that, and that. But the flood that you made mention, it happens mostly in Accra, right?
Yeah, urban areas.
Urban areas, and what you experience in Accra is part of it. Someone likened it to the fact that that we are doing more tiling and pavement.
That is it. We are reducing infiltration.
Okay.
And then once you reduce the infiltration, there will be more runoffs. And then so we don't have adequate hydraulic structures to carry these runoffs safely.
So what could have been the best option?
It's all a matter of development control.
Okay.
It's all a matter of development control. The authorities responsible are doing their best. The citizens also have to comply with regulations. Because like I always say, compliance is disaster risk reduction. Why must you put yourself in harm's way when you can obey simple regulations to be safe? We are always talking about enforcement, but we all know that enforcement capacity is low in this country. If you take police to citizen ratio, we don't meet the standard. If you take and all sectors. So how do we expect maximum or effective enforcement? It should be compliance by the citizen. If you are not doing the wrong thing, police will not come after anybody. The city authorities will not come after anybody. The regulations are there. Follow them and be safe. Because I think that the problems people don't understand, and they think that assemblies and for that matter government is interested in the fee that they pay, the money. So once they pay money, they think they are good to go. Even those who get the permits, he has acquired permit for a 2-story building. Then he's doing a 3-4-story building. So these are the challenges that are there.
Let's go for this quick break for the first half of this conversation. When we return, we have more for you on this interview. My name is Godfred Amoaful, and I've been doing this with Richard Amo Yartey, who is the director of Inspectorate at the NADMO. Of course, he's telling us a lot. I think that you are learning. I'm also learning. But then let's go for this break. When we return, we do the second half of the conversation.
Your flight is ready to leave.
Sit back and relax and enjoy the flight.
All right, welcome back. We've been told that, well, when the disaster happens, not everybody in the community will get the relief items. So take good care of yourselves. Probably, you might not even fall in the category. You would think that some relief items will be coming to you if you don't take action to protect yourself. Prevention is better than cure, like we always say. So just be on the guard and do the little that you can to protect yourself as a community, because NADMO cannot do it all. Government cannot do it all. You should be responsible for your own safety in wherever that you find yourself. And this is how the conversation has been. We have been educated on the activities of NADMO, how we prevent ourselves when it comes to floods. We've heard about types of floods, where we can see them and how it comes and all that. I've been of the view that floods cannot be, prevented for me, because who can stop, rains? And probably he has also confirmed that we don't know the velocity or the intensity of a rain that is coming. They can predict that it will rain today, but I don't know how the intensity will be. So, of course, how do you stop it from overflowing? The next question is, how do you prepare yourself, or how do you salvage the situation? And so let's go into the next half of the conversation. I have been speaking to Richard Amo Yartey. He's still here with me. Let's find out, NADMO, is it the same case with the fire service as they receive prank calls? Do you also receive such?
A lot. We receive prank calls.
You receive them?
Yeah. And then sometimes people call and they won't, it's not a prank call, but they're unable to give you accurate information. So to get to locate them where they are is a problem. So we always advise that when people call, they should relax, they should be calm. Allow us to ask the questions that we need to ask, so that when we are responding with fact.
So what is an accurate information?
For example, you should be able to tell us where you are, your exact location, and then what is happening at the moment you were making the call. If there's water entering your room, is it in your compound? Has it entered your room? If it has entered your room, what is the level? Is your house, is it a story building where you can move to a higher floor? We will ask all these questions because our resources are stretched. So sometimes after getting the information, you realize you don't need to send a team, but you just need to speak to the person for the person to know what to do to be safe. You know, it's not always that you have to be moved out of your house. We have what we call shelter in place. You are safe wherever you are, so stay put. Because all around you is flood waters, but it is not in your house. It doesn't mean it will come to your house. Probably you built the house above flood waters, so you are in danger when you move out, but stay put. And then if there's the need for emergency service workers to get you, we will come and get you. That is why we say, so there are 3 ways to do it. In the absence of floods, when you don't have floods, you need to prepare. Prepare means those who live in the flood-prone areas. I mean, people who know, especially those who have a history of flooding, you should follow weather information. And then your valuables, especially things that will damage when it gets into contact with water, you need to keep them in plastics. And you need to keep them on higher grounds. In your home, the sockets, they should all be high. They shouldn't be close to the ground so that it can easily absorb water when the area is inundated. So these are things that you have to do in preparation because you live in a flood-prone area. Your community has a history of floods. Then when the floods occur, it's survival. How do I survive? But then once you were preparing, you also have to get in touch with the nearest NADMO office so that you know the nearest safe place for you. Then you should also get to know the emergency hotlines. We have the National Emergency Hotline, which is 112. It must be at your fingertips so that you call that number whenever you are distressed. You find yourself in any distressful situation, you can call. So these are all things that you have to do, you have to know before the floods come. Once the floods come, it's all about survival. You call the emergency hotline, you avoid walking through floodwaters, driving through floodwaters, so that you stay safe.
We see Okada riders, I'm sure you've seen some, trying to ride in the flats.
Yeah, it's a high risk the riders take. They think that they know the terrain, they know where the drains are, but sometimes it's not the terrain, it is the current, undercurrent. You may not know. It can even carry trucks. So we advise that don't cross flood waters. It is dangerous. And then, like I said, in the preparedness stage, you know, when it comes to evacuation, there are 2 sides to it. Sometimes you self-evacuate because you anticipate the situation and then you move out. When you are moving out, switch off all electrical sockets, all electrical appliances before you leave. It's very, very important. You don't leave any, switch them off at the mains, not just at the plugs, at the mains, so that electricity does not come into the facility and then leave to the safe place.
How do we handle children?
We always advise that mothers should keep, or parents should keep a close eye, especially the kids under 5 years. The kids love water. They want to play with water. So make sure you have your eyes on them always. And then flood waters are contaminated. Sometimes there are even wild reptiles in them. Sometimes they carry, because it sweeps everything in its path. And then once you are in it, you can be contaminated or injured or even bitten by a reptile.
Have you recorded that incident before, that someone being bitten by a reptile?
Not in our situation,
Okay.
but we know, we've read stories of we follow all these things to advise ourselves.
You are right. Does it mean that NADMO knows in every community where there is a safe place or for people?
Yeah, we identify safe places, at least in every district.
Okay.
At least in every district, we have identified 2-3 areas where, so you have to take shelter to the safe place nearest you. Or when we have to move you, we will move you to the place nearest.
Do you make the people aware, or you identify them when the incident happens?
Before, at the beginning of every year, we assess areas that have already been identified to see their suitability.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why I said that in the times before the rains or the floods, you should visit your nearest NADMO office and let them, so that you get to know where your safe places are.
That would be some sort of...
Citizens must take responsibility.
You don't do any community engagement?
We do community engagement, yes. We do it. But then you can also go the extra mile, because it's your life. You have to be safe. Even with this current happening in Woezor, you hear people say they didn't inform us. But over 2 months ago, community announcement, one-on-one engagement has been happening. They said, this is the people who always say that they didn't inform us, but that is not correct.
I've been there before. I've engaged them before about these situations, and they will tell you that yes, they informed them, but the duration was too short.
We were too short, 2 months.
And sometimes they don't know where to park to.
Not like I'm saying, this Woezor dam has been spilling for over 2 months. Controlled, because nobody wants downstream communities to be inundated. So it has been controlled. But in the past 3 days, it was just...
Do you have any monitoring mechanism that if people don't report, you can even identify or see what is happening on the ground?
We are in constant listening with the authorities.
Okay.
Our Woezor office. So any measure, NADMO is a key stakeholder. We are working with Ghana Water Limited.
Let's be fair and free to speak about this. What kind of improvements can we add to NADMO's activities?
Improvement. What we require most is, like I don't know if it was at this program that I said it, we need support in terms of equipment. We need vehicles in our district offices. Yeah, we need all these improvements to make us more effective. If you have 261 district offices, about 90% of them do not have operational vehicles. How do they move to respond? Even in Greater Accra, our district offices, they don't have. So we need support in these areas to be more effective. Yeah. But then we are working with the resources available to us. We are doing the best to ensure that communities are safe, our citizens are safe.
You made mention how we can act during incidents like flood and all those things. I mean, switching on your electricity power and all those things. Like a first aid box, what must we include in our preparedness when it comes to safety kits?
Like I've said, you need some few emergency supplies, like you need food, basic food.
Okay.
You need water.
Okay.
As well, if you have to shelter in place, you have to stay put in your home, and you cannot go out to get food. You need to have food, water. And when you talk about first aid, you are always looking at painkillers. Don't do any medication so that you will complicate matters. If you have a medical situation, call 112. Health professionals will attend to you. So I wouldn't want to talk about any drug or any medicinal. No. Call 112. They will direct you to the nearest health professionals who will address your issue.
NADMO, what do you attend to, and what you don't attend to? What falls in your jurisdiction, and what is out of
We have been established to manage disaster.
Okay.
disasters, all forms of disasters.
So fire,
All forms of disasters.
building collapses.
All forms of disasters.
Okay.
We are the first line of response. But we can never do it alone.
Okay.
No single agency can manage a disaster because every disaster requires a multidisciplinary, multi-sectorial approach to deal with it. So no single, that we will have to also coordinate the resources of all other agencies. For example, we talked about a building collapse. The recent building collapse in Accra town. NADMO was there, fire was there, police was there, ambulance, Ghana Armed Forces. So because no single agency has all the resources to do it. So we pull together resources of our collaborators and then we coordinate and ensure effective response.
Like that building that collapsed, we still see people worshiping in uncompleted buildings. Is there anything they need to watch out when they are using those facilities?
Not only those worshiping in Uncle, everybody, you see, ideally, before you even rent or purchase a property, you need to get an engineer, a professional, to assess it for you.
They can do that.
If you get a professional to assess it for you and come out with tell you about the state of the facility in terms of its integrity, I think it's the best way. But most people, it's beautiful. It looks at the painting, the aesthetics, and then you are paying without even looking at the community, the environment. Ideally, you should approach the nearest NADMO office, identify the hazards that are prevalent in the community. If you want to buy a land, there's no law that says go to NADMO before you develop. No, there's no law. But in your interest, from what is happening around us, go to NADMO, get a hazard profile of the community where you have bought your land. That one, you take it to your architect. This is the profile of the area in terms of hazard. What can you design for me to be resilient? You get a structural engineer. They work on it, give you a resilient facility. Without no disrespect to artisans, the professionals, architects, engineers, the surveyors, they will need the services of the artisans. But then people buy the land and straight they go for the artisans. From experience, there are things they can do. It's not everything they can do. You can be a professional nurse for many, many years, but you cannot. It doesn't qualify you to be a doctor. You can be a mason, very good one at that, but it doesn't make you an engineer. There are things the engineer may know that you may not know. So you need to work together. But now, once they have their money, everybody forgets about the professionals, goes for the artisans. And then, so these are all part of the problems.
Do you think knowledge has also been a problem, the knowledge gap?
I think it's cost. We are always running away from cost. Our problem more is cost. People know, but because of course they want to cut down costs, they will not do it. What is right? It's not about knowledge. People know. They know that I have to do it this way. But how do I save 10% of the money? Let me cut this corner, let me cut this corner. Yes. For me, that is what I think.
So when you get some of the services free, these things will come to a halt?
Yes, I believe so. Like free services, engineering services for free, professional services.
Abi, when they consult you, that will be free, or consulting NADMO for the profile of the place?
You see, for now, but going forward, NADMO must have the regulations so that we can charge for these services.
You want to charge?
We need to generate revenue. We need to generate revenue.
Aside what governments give you.
Yeah, we need to generate revenue.
You want to?
Because there's so much we can do to help the citizens. Yes. There's so much we can do.
From all your experiences, what have you learned from what you've been doing so far, over the years? What's the lesson you've picked from your work?
Like they said, life is a school that you never complete. So every day you learn new things. You learn people's behavior. People's behavior. Sometimes you meet people. Let me give you an example without mentioning the area.
Yeah.
People are inundated. you need to put in place certain measures for them to be safe. They said that our gods will not agree.
Their gods?
Will not agree. So unless you pacify the gods.
Really?
I am coming to support you to save your life. I now have to pacify your gods before I save you.
Interesting.
Yes. And so, okay, what do I need to do? Because we also have to respect people's culture and all
beliefs.
that. Belief systems. We need to respect it. You want 6 white rum?
You don't mean it.
6 bottles of snap? We want 30,000 cities?
What?
So, wow.
How much are they going to receive? And
yes, when we want to save lives, now we have to do all these things before you allow me to save you.
So what do you do in this situation?
You negotiate. In fact, you need to negotiate until you come to an understanding.
You do negotiate.
You have to. They are humans. So that is it is a belief system that has been passed on from generation to generation. They can't just get up one day and say, I don't believe it, I won't do it. No. You have to negotiate.
To save them.
Yes. We have had issues where women don't want to be attended to by male rescuers. And because you see a nakedness, maybe they state that. I mean.
So in that, do you have females that will have to do that work?
Yeah, you need to bring in females from the fire service, from the Ghana Armed Forces.
So they are willing to die because of their beliefs?
So beliefs is beliefs. You don't know what it can do. I believe that I don't think a man should see my nakedness. I would rather die. Elsewhere, people commit suicide. Rather than you to see their nakedness, they'll commit suicide. Yeah.
Can they change this?
It's something that, with time, it takes time. It has been passed on from generation to generation.
Culture is dynamic.
Yes.
I mean,
sometimes with time it will change.
But in a critical situation,
with time it will change.
Do you have more experiences? I mean, apart from
so we negotiate. At the end of the day, I think we paid. Government paid 5,000.
5,000
citizens
to move them out of where?
No, for the people to agree and understand that with that 5,000 at least, the gods
will accept it.
And then for us to do what we had to do for them to be safe. I mean, these are some cultural practices and key challenges.
Wow.
You must respect it.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Are there any other shocks, cultural shocks that you've been seeing around?
A lot. But I mean, sometimes, some of them, when I tell you, you know who and where. So I have to
quote it. I mean, just dress it the way that.
This is enough for you to understand, for your viewers to understand that we have issues that delays our response. You need to save the life. The situation is worsening. The person said, Lala, if you don't pacify my gods, you won't do what you have to do. Yes.
So you pour like
because they believe that in a worst case scenario, the gods are there to save them.
Wow. Wow.
You want to save them as a human being, okay. Let the gods understand. Let the God accept the offering. Then.
Have you been violently been attacked before? Like the fire service, normally they complain and they get to police?
Personally, no. Okay. But there are recorded incidents of NADMO officers being attacked, hooted at, chased away, all because of relief issues that people don't understand. Yes, they think that NADMO has not been fair to them. NADMO has been partial and all that. But we are guided by the humanitarian imperative of humanity, neutrality, and impartiality. And then we also recognize the fact that it is their right to receive support.
Okay.
Humanitarian support. It is their right. It is not like you are Father Christmas and you are doing it. It is their right. If you don't do it, you have violated their rights per international protocols. That's the humanitarian charge. So we are guided by all this. Yes. And I will reiterate, relief is not handouts for people in an area that has been affected by a disaster.
You are not guaranteed.
No. Once you are being in the area doesn't guarantee you relief. Relief is for the most vulnerable. We need to empower them. We use equity to get equality. We each according to his needs. When we all have our needs, we are equal.
So within this week, which areas have received your relief items?
In the Greater Accra metropolitan area, Ghana North have received some relief for Woezor. Ghana South have received some relief.
Was it about floods?
Yes, yes. You know, like I said, before the spill at this high level, upstream communities in Ghana West, Ghana South, Amasama, and Embarrass, Afuaman, and all, they were inundated.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So the spill is easing the situation and then inundating downstream communities. Yes.
So Ghana, then Woezor.
Yeah, I mentioned Woezor, I mentioned Ghana East. I need to go through the records, but we are doing relief. Like I said, relief is not for everybody in the community. It's for the most vulnerable. It's a life-saving measure. We want to support people who are in distress to continue to have a life of dignity. The situation should not turn them into beggars. It is their right to receive humanitarian support. So it is humanitarian support we offer, not handouts to people in.
So what's on your schedule for the week, the coming week?
Tight. We are monitoring and assessing the situation. And wherever an incident occurs, or as an incident threatens to occur, we'll be there. Like as we speak now, our people are still on the field, monitoring the situation. And I could get a call anytime that this is happening, we need to move. It's difficult to plan your day because you don't know what's going to happen next. It's very, very difficult. Morning, afternoon, night. Like I said, Wednesday night, throughout the night till the next morning, we're trying to open up a second estuary to ease the flow.
At Woezor there.
Yeah, to ease the Tetebu situation. And then when we finished and we expected in 2-3 hours, the heavy rains came in, and then that was what
they started the planning.
Everything, and then
the work is difficult, so it's not easy.
But you are managing.
You are not sleeping. I can see from your eyes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very, very tired.
That's my worst. But I say something finally to Ghanaians. Let's close this.
Yeah. My message finally to Ghanaians is that we are here with the rains. Thankfully, there is technology that can tell us, warn us. Let's pay attention to weather information. Let's pay attention to the NADMO officers in our communities. If you are unsure of the situation, approach the nearest NADMO office or call our hotlines. Call the 112 and connect with NADMO. You can ask all your questions. If it cannot be answered directly by the EOC at that level, you'll be directed to an officer who will address them for you. NADMO, our motto is prevention pays. We are here to save lives and property. We are here to work with all of you to do that. No single individual, no single agency can do it all. It takes a collaborated and coordinated effort to ensure that communities are safe and people are resilient.
He has said it all. That is Richard Amo Yartey, Director of Inspectorate, NADMO. So of course, I mean, this is one of the most educative interviews we've had. I'm happy having this with him, and I know that you've learned a lot of things from how to protect yourself, how to reach out to them, what you need to do. Even he's spoken about when you went to rent an apartment, what you need to do to safeguard yourself. This is where you draw the curtains for today's edition on the interview. My name is Godfred Amoaful. Let's meet next week for another insightful and educative interview. Have a good night.